Today's video is about that time I stopped taking my bipolar meds without speaking to my doctor. Now, I do not condone doing this, but I definitely did it, and I'll tell you why. Hi friends, it's Jess with Our Bipolar. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, just a little bit about me. I have bipolar 1 and I was diagnosed 26 years ago when I was a sophomore in college. Before we jump right in, I am going to ask you to please subscribe, like, comment, all the things. I would love to hear from you. This was quite a long time ago when I stopped taking my meds for bipolar. I was so fed up. I just couldn't see a way forward, and that's why I stopped taking them. But like I said, I really urge you, if you're feeling like you want to stop taking your meds, to talk to your doctor, talk to a doctor. Please do that. I did not do that, and I ended up sort of okay, but it could have been a real disaster. Ever since I was diagnosed with bipolar, I was not doing well. I mean, everyone says like, oh, it's so great that you were diagnosed right away with bipolar after you started having episodes. And yes, that's true. But what we forget about is there can be a very long, what I call like a struggle period, where you're not receiving good care from doctors, you're not on proper meds, the doctor is not really trying too hard to get you on good meds, you're not being told on how to take care of yourself, make lifestyle changes. And when I was diagnosed, there was really no social media. So I wasn't learning things from other people online. There was no Instagram. It was a rough time. So I went through about 8 years after my diagnosis where it was as if I had not been diagnosed at all. The meds I was on were not helping, and they may have been exacerbating my symptoms. I was going through ultra rapid cycling, so every single month I had mania and depression symptoms, and it was awful. And I tried different psychiatrists and no one was helping me. I would try a new doctor, and for the final doctor, who, before I went off my meds, he wasn't changing the main medications, which I was taking Depakote and I was taking an antidepressant. And instead of him changing those meds, which were obviously not helping, he was just adding in other things. So he added in Ambien at one point to help me sleep. He was adding in anti-anxiety meds, but he wasn't changing my true bipolar meds. I was seeing him, but then I sort of became less frequently seeing him. It was just too frustrating. And finally, I just threw up my hands, stopped taking my meds altogether. And what's important here is that I also stopped my other meds that had nothing to do with bipolar, one of which was Synthroid, which is for hypothyroidism. So my body, naturally produces too much of the thyroid hormone, so this has to be regulated, but I just stopped everything. Now, like I said, I don't condone doing this, but once I stopped all of my meds, I felt better. I wasn't having bipolar symptoms, at least not for a while. It was amazing. I mean, I wasn't the type of person, I know a lot of people with bipolar will stop their meds because they start feeling good. And then they think, well, I'm feeling so good, I don't need meds. My experience was the exact opposite. I was feeling so horrible that I thought, I can't feel any worse without these medications. It just did not seem possible. So when I went off the meds, I started feeling better. It was great at first. And I went almost a year without having any mania or depression. And so this was back in 2007. I go kind of a year. At this point, I'm out of college, I'm working. I had moved to Washington, D.C. I'm, living a fairly normal life once I get off these meds. And then I decide that I should probably go back on that Synthroid for my thyroid problem. Because I thought, well, there's no reason I can't be on that. Like, why wouldn't I just take that? I know it can be really bad for your body to not have it. Oh, and I'm sorry. The Synthroid is for underactive thyroid. Earlier I said overactive. Sorry. I see someone and he puts me back on the Synthroid, and right away I start having bipolar symptoms. I start having mania specifically. Right away I'm like, oh my God, I have to get back on meds. What am I going to do? So I do some research. I find a new psychiatrist, and I'm actually still with that psychiatrist today. He is the best doctor overall that I have ever seen. He agreed with me that Depakote was really bad for my body particularly, and he put me on lithium. I've been on it ever since. I do really well on it. I know some people have bad side effects or it just doesn't work for everyone, but for me, it really did work. And over the years, I have added a little bit of Seroquel to that. I take that as well, but it was night and day. And really, me getting off those meds, it really got me to these good meds. I mean, but what I should have done, what you should do if you're thinking about getting off your bipolar meds, is talk to your doctor. Be honest. Just tell them you're fed up. You were going to go off your meds. What can you do for me? Can we make changes? Because that's really what should happen. And a doctor should listen and know that if you're that fed up that you want to go off your meds, this is not a way to live. You can't go on this way. So that's what I would recommend. But in my case, it did sort of give me that push to finding a new psychiatrist, getting on the proper meds, and he also taught me all about lifestyle changes and how I can live a better life on top of the medication. And that has made all the difference. Tell me your stories. Have you ever gone off medication or thought about it? You know, I know a lot of us have. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.